Hi guys, Travis here. I just wanted to kind of introduce everyone to a new feature that I just sort of stumbled across called Google Chat. Now, I know that many of us are familiar with the Google Hangouts, right? Some of us might even have the app downloaded on our phone. Hangouts sort of is just a pretty simple messaging tool that really anyone that downloads that app can message between. Now, Google Chat is very similar to that, but it keeps things in house, right? So it only would stay within our Google network. Now, as I sort of got into the Google Chat site, it is sort of integrated into Meet, as like you can have conversations on chat that then turn into a video meet. But I just want to sort of show you guys sort of what this looks like. Now, it is there's a few steps that I'll sort of walk you through. Um, but the chat is, if any of you guys have ever used um, any type of messaging, um, or like workplace communication tool, I want to say Reddit, but it's not really like Reddit. Slack is probably, something that is very similar to this. But what it actually allows you to do, particularly for these meetings that we're supposed to be having, these PLC meetings that obviously we want to communicate. I know a lot of us have just been doing that by email, but say, if we decide to sit down and we don't necessarily want to have a video call at 8 o'clock in the morning because we can't get away or whatever, you may be then able to go through the chat and actually have sort of like a typed, chat going on. So, with this, you could, post a message to a group that you've sort of already established. So you would have had to create, um, a group here. If you just want to sort of select down a couple individuals, you can certainly do that. But really, what I think the use for this would be is to create our sort of PLCs through this Google Chat. So, for example, here's just sort of something that I've been thinking about for our Cultures 9 course is using this chat as almost like a help desk. So here's sort of my initial post, sort of welcoming students to it. But in there, I have that, we would then go and add those students once we get our total list. But you could have them create almost like discussion posts, or maybe you in your class you want to have a discussion post, and then you want to have students then respond to that, or maybe they themselves, for like the weekly requirement is to, you know, I don't know, maybe you're going to do a current event and you want them to post a unique topic and then respond to other people's. I know that if any of you have taken an online, you know, master's course or done any type of online learning, discussion tends to be through this type of format. I think that there is some use for it here. If you want to set up something like this, or maybe you want to post questions for kids to answer, now you can certainly do that in Classroom, but it's not going to give you this ability for the kids to start their own individual threads, their new topics. They're just going to continue to reply, 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 reply on the same topic, and they're not really going to have a chance to start new topics, right? And then sort of spread off of that. Another use may be for, as I said, for creating, maybe, for example, our ninth grade PLC, right? So we go ahead and create this group, and then you can sort of get in there and do with what you wish. You can add people to it. But what's interesting about this is if we're going to run sort of a classroom, in the sense, you know, say that we want to share some information, we can do that all right through here through Drive. You want to upload a file. You then want to go to sort of a live meeting, right? Everyone says, hey, let's get on chat. Let's have a discussion about sort of what we're doing next week. Um, you know, and then you don't necessarily want to just continue to type. Sometimes you need to, video chat the group. That's something you can do. You can start video meetings from chat. I do think it does have some functionality for what we're going to try to do, especially as we collaborate more online and less, face to face. I still think that, we want to try to meet with our students as much as we can, building that sense of, you know, humanity, them seeing us seeing them, sort of smiling, laughing, learning together. But I think this might be a way for us to keep the conversation going after we stop that live recording, right? This chat can be continuous. You can get on there, whenever you want. And one last thing I will say about it is those rooms, the people who create the rooms or have access to the rooms are the only ones that can then invite other people to it, right? So it's not just like, I couldn't get on here and just search and see what pops up and then just jump into these random ones. No, you have to get an invite to an existing chat, or you have to then create your own. I do think that there's some application here that we could use. I'm going to play around with it a little bit more, seeing if sort of I can integrate this into a link on Classroom. So stay tuned.